Hi, we did this setup today to do a comparison between the PWM controller and an MPPT controller. We have two 200 watt panel, one connected to the PWM controller. What we see right now on the PWM controller is a charge of 9 amps coming out of the panel and a charge of 9 amps going to the battery. What we see on the MPPT controller, it's approximately 160 watts, so 9 amps coming out of the panel and a charge of 11 amps going from the charge controller to the battery. So we have 2 more amps, or approximately 20% more of charge coming out of the MPPT controller. If we take the numbers that we just saw, we had 9 amps at 18 volts coming out of the panel, so a total of 162 watts coming out of the panel. We had 9 amps at 13.8 volts for a total of 124 watts going from the controller to the battery. So we had a charge of 124 watts on a total of 162 watts coming from the panel. If we take the MPPT controller, we still had the 9 amps at 18 volts for a total of 162 watts coming out of the panel. We had 11.1 amps at 13.8 volts for a total of 153 watts of charge going to the battery, an increase of 23%. If we had the battery at 12 volts instead of 13.8 volts, we will have still 9 amps with the PWM controller, so 9 amps at 12 volts for a total of 108 watts. And with the MPPT controller, we will have 12.7 amps at 12 volts for a total of 152 watts, an increase of 40%. That's why we're saying that with an MPPT controller, you gain usually between 20 and 30%, sometimes more, of charge going to your battery.